Yeah, what in the hell? Like, this makes no sense to me. Why? So it's going to be the distance from 0. If we preview this, it shouldn't be just black. It should be, the bottom left distance. Oh, okay. So the bottom left distance minus the top right distance is not actually what we want. We want the distance of the vector between them. So we want to subtract, yeah, we want to multiply this, and it's basically going to be subtract this vector from that vector, and then we want to get the, I don't understand how, like, there we go, distance from 0. So yeah, this should be the correct thing there. And this is going to be the length, and we're supposed to subtract these two vectors from each other. Thank you for following, Ashraz Fuzdo. What was that name? That was Ashrafsto. Welcome. I am doing vector math and doing poorly at it. That's progress right there. We have successfully made a pair of pants. We'll have to remember this configuration. This is the pants configuration. Reminds me of those old Cartoon Network spoofs they had. Brainiac stands up. What do you want? What do you bring before the Council of Doom? And he's like, I just want a pair of pants. And Toymaker's like, I want more toys. He's like, I just want pants. Just a decent pair of pants. Man, what a bunch of ungrateful bastards. Alright, so what we need to do is we're going to get the length of this thing. But what we've got to do is subtract this value from this value, and then we want to divide the distance here like this. And then we divide the distance there by that, and that'll give us our u coordinate, supposedly. So let's see what that looks like. That might be it. We might have just solved it. In which case I can clean up the rest of this math and see if that distance thing works properly. Well, it doesn't look like it works. So, why doesn't it work? So it works at this angle. At 45 degrees, we are still not working properly. Well, let's see if we swap our axes here. Why don't we... If we swap our axes on this, does this change which side of the cube gets the water? Yeah, okay. So if we did like 0.707 and 0.707 for our U basis, we should see like the waterfall kind of come at it on the corner of these things, supposedly. So it's supposed to be right here, and instead of this value looking proper, it's alright, so we're going to subtract our bottom left from our top right. So let's see what the distance value is. The distance value is 0 along here, and then it goes from 0 to 1 on these sides. Do we need to change our basis vectors if we change our extents? Because what we want to do is go from like 0 to 1, like so. Do we need to rotate our extents? Or Because I'm trying to think about, like, what is the bottom left and bottom right of an object, and, like, this is not exactly true. For our extents, basically, when we rotate our object, the bottom left and bottom, like, the bottoms are always in the same, like, we as we rotate, it's not like the extents are changing too much. You know, for a bounding box or something like that. Like, this is just getting our component bounds. We have our origin and we have our box extents. The extents are these values, and they're always changing. So when we're aligned to these axes, we're actually getting the bottom left and bottom right that are, you know, those are aligned with the axis, so they're giving us the correct values. So I need to rotate the I need to rotate the extents or something like that in order to get the true, like, bottom right and bottom left and top right. I need to actually figure that out based on your angle, because the bottom left is here and the top right is over there. I'm saying our extents are 6,000 in the X, 6,000 in the Y, 6,000 in the Z. So 6 and 6 and all that. And those values are changing. So like the X value here is less. Because we're not getting this position. So I basically need to take the extents and transform them back into the original space or something like that. I need to rotate the extents, because the extents are going to be, in this case, I need the extents when the rotation is 0. And then I need to rotate that object based on the current rotation. So I need the rotation when the object has no transform. And then I need to rotate those extents. So waterfall mesh, I need the component bounds. Let's see if they already have something built in for this. I'm using get actor bounds to create a bounding sphere for my actor. I get the box elements used to find the box diagonal. Everything works fine, but when I rotate my actor, changing the radius of the sphere. My question is, how can I get the actor bounds ignoring its rotation? I didn't solve it. Set your desired actor rotation, get actor bounds with this rotation, store the result, use this cache. Let's calculate center. You just need a rough sphere, get simple collision radius. Alright, well, so basically what this guy was doing was, there is no way to get that. You need to cache it, so how can I get the actor bounds ignoring the rotation? Yeah, so the problem we're having is the bounds are changing when we rotate, and what we need to do is not do that. So we need to like set actor transform. So we're going to need to get the actor transform, save it, because I knew that's pretty much what I'm trying to do, is figure out exactly where everything is. Because as long as I get the math correct and all that stuff. Alright, so get the actor transform, and we're going to set cache transform to it. Then we need to set the actor transform to the identity, and then we need to get the cache transform here and set the actor transform to that. Alright, so we need to get the identity. Is there... Can we just make a transform? Yeah, is there just an identity? There's no fucking identity transform? So I have to have a make transform in here? And what I have to do after this is I need to retransform this thing into the space. So I need to, for these guys, we'll get the bounds, and then we'll transform it. Transform a position by the supplied transform. Alright, so we got the extents, and then we've got these two things. So this is going to be the bottom left, which should be this. This would be the... Why don't we just hook these on here after we set them? Seems like a better plan to me. How do I do that? Alright, so we'll transform all the stuff into the red spaces. Well, that's not working at all, is it? Bottom left, top right. Oh, we don't want to get the actor transform here, we want the cached transform. So it's close, but we've got some wonky math here. That's what it looks like. Alright, well, take a look here. What we can find out. Let's make sure we got this compiled out properly. So the interesting thing here is we're getting some weird crap going on with this thing. So like the side of this is not, and it's also what, curved at the top there? Like this doesn't have that weird curve, it's just, well, it's supposed to a little bit. Well, it's basically, one of these things is mapping properly, but other stuff isn't. Like, this side is mapped properly, but this side has got issue. And are we ending a little early? Or is that just the clip plane? Yeah, okay, just the clip plane. So it looks like this is just not cutting over here for some reason. Like, it's clamped at 0. That's clear by its stretching. So our math is correct. It's going across properly. We're just not cutting. This opacity is this whole thing. So if it's equal to 0, so this is going to be 0. So the opacity isn't getting cut. Let's see, if we do like base width is 1 and base width offset is 0, we would expect that it looks wrong, doesn't it? Alright, so it's literally just the left side is screwed up somehow. It's sticking on the right side. Why is it sticking though? we're rotating it out. The scales are all fine. Everything is there. It's going to be, so we created the U and everything, and we did with these calculations. It's going to be that our U value is wrong for some reason. So well, let's see if we can actually debug some of this stuff. Maybe there's a way we can see some of these values. I don't really know of a great way to debug all this stuff except for by taking this value and just like slapping it in here and hitting apply. This is not the easiest thing to track down. I mean, it's actually that the U values are going, they're positive over here, but they shouldn't be. Right? That's what's going on? It's like it's starting at the wrong place. Like it's the left side is not correct. So we've got this box which is around it, which looks correct. And we've got the bounds. Hello, Evolving Eye. Thank you for following. Hopefully you're having an easier time than I am with all this. Because I am just... I am just... Ugh. Obviously not having the easiest time ever on this one. Well, one of the things that we can do here is instead of adding these components together with this crap, I can, and this V basis is never changing, so it doesn't matter, but this should be the distance. That's not what I clicked on. So we'll just make sure that that's correct so we don't have any more of these add component things. Well, maybe it's this. Maybe it's this thing right here that we weren't looking at. We'll just fix everything real quick. No problem, yeah. Maybe I will actually get some of this stuff working or not working, regardless. This is some of the stuff like the math and all that for visualizations and everything. I used to be better at that than I am now. Did that change anything? Yeah, we just totally screwed everything up. Alright, so that goes from 0 to 1. All these material things are just slow working on. What the hell? What the fuck changed here? That's another thing with working with blueprints and all these things. I cannot undo very nicely because the undo is a global undo. I can't just like undo a change that I made specifically to like a material or something I'm editing here. Like the undo history is global, so it's like if I click on an actor here or something, that's an undo operation, so I can't just like, I can't work on a specific thing. It's actually pretty damn annoying. When you're trying to mess with stuff and experiment, blueprints can be kind of frustrating. Alright, well the Z stuff is fine. The problem is the U is messed up. Alright, so why is the U messed up? And the reason that that got all screwed up was the absolute value of some stuff, which was not correct. So it's going to be that this value is wrong over here on this side. So let's check our math. So we take the absolute world position, we project it onto the U basis vector. We're going to subtract what the bottom left from that. So that should give us, like, they're both projected vectors, and these are normal. Are they normalized though? I guess that would be the question. Well, let's see. Let's just normalize these things to make sure. I don't think I have to normalize them. I think they're already normalized. Yeah, no change. I mean, this is the biggest weird thing that's happening here is as it rotates, the V value is correct throughout the entire thing. The U value is like starting at 0 right here, which makes no damn sense to me. Like, why is the U value starting at 0 there? Our bottom left and top right are after we've transformed this thing by our cached transform. It's going to take this thing into world space. So get waterfall mesh, get world transform. I mean, this is supposedly an identity rotation. So we want to get the world transform of the mesh. Alright, well, that is an identity transform. The waterfall mesh, we're going to get the extents at the transform. And then we've got our, we rotate, we get our actor rotation, we're going to grab the Z, we're going to rotate our vectors to that. So the basis vectors is like X and Y is fine. The top right is are we off by a specific amount? Like, well, why is the right side correct? Why is this correct? But this side right here has problems. It's like something else is wrong. Like that the math is correct, but it's off by a certain amount. Maybe it's this. Maybe there's something wrong with this sort of stuff. Like a if we put this at 0, then Y and Z are like this, and our bottom left is bottom left, top right. So it's up in the Y. The Z is correct, the X is correct as well. Now this thing should be much taller than it is wide, which is what I see. I mean, is it actually? It's moved to the left. You know, the whole thing is moved to the left by a small amount. So why would it be moved to the left? The thing we're dividing by is wrong. Do we need to change the order of the operations for some of these things? Like for our... Like we want to take our bottom left and subtract, and then we want to move our stuff onto the right basis.